Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to a place called Success. I am Anissa Smith, your facilitator, and I have with me today Miss Sarah Bagley. And today we're going to be talking about how to return back to school after the winter break, tips for a successful return. And so, Sarah, why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Bagley. I have been in education for 23 years now. Over the 23 years, I have taught pre-kindergarten. I have been a math specialist for kindergarten through sixth grade. I have worked with alternative education students in grades K through six, been a classroom teacher both for third and sixth grade students. Let's see, I have been a technology coordinator, and most recently, I am an instructional specialist where I am coaching teachers, kindergarten through second grade teachers, in best practices for both reading and math, as well as doing reading intervention for second grade students.
Oh my goodness! Wow, you have a broad range of experience. So this should be a great conversation. So, um, as I said, our topic is we're getting ready. We're closing down, getting ready to come off of the winter break. We've had the holidays, we've had the new year, and I think school in most places is probably going to be starting here in a couple of days. And so, one of the things I know a lot of parents are probably thinking about are how in the world are they going to corral all the kiddos and kind of get them ready to return to school. Um, what are, excuse me, what are some of the challenges that children typically have when they're returning to school after winter break?
Wow. Okay. So returning back after winter break, and it's actually we find it after winter break and even after the spring break, anytime there's more than just 2 days off, it can kind of be an adjustment um for students. One, because typically the students are off their routine.
Hmm.
And so the normal routine is they get up in the morning at whatever time, wash their face, brush their teeth, get the bath, get dressed, either have breakfast at home or they may have breakfast at school. But it's a set routine. They know what to expect. They know I'm going to come into school, I'm going to get my breakfast, I'm going to do my morning work, there's a pattern that they've had going on.
Hmm.
When they're home, typically that pattern is gone,
Yeah.
where they're up till 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. Sometimes they see the sun come up and they see the sun come up again, and they've been up. The sun went to sleep. They did not go to sleep. So you have all of these things that's happening.
Right.
And the parents are like, you know what? For a week and a half or 2 weeks, I don't have to fight saying, get up, get up. I don't have to fight that fight. I'm not going to fight that fight. So they've been home and they have not been typically made to do anything of, I'm gonna say substance
Hmm.
in the sense where they have to actually sit down and complete a worksheet or complete an assignment or listen to someone other than the parent or
Hmm.
do something other than watch TV, play their video games, sleep, go outside. They're now responsible for doing something else. And that can be challenging because they've and I'll say kind of fallen off the wagon.
Hmm.
It's kind of like when you think about when we may have a thing where we've been working out or we've been doing something consistently, and the moment we stop, trying to get back on that pattern again can be difficult and
Hmm.
challenging because it's not what I've been doing. So I think about when you're looking at I used to go to the gym all the time.
Hmm.
I had a set pattern. I was there. I was flipping tires. I was pushing sleds. I was jumping up on boxes. I'm doing all of this. And then I
Hmm.
fell off. And now I'm like, oh, do what? Jim?
Yeah.
I'll drive by. And
Yeah.
so it's
Right.
just trying to get back into those routines. So those are those challenges the kids have with actually coming back and then having to sit in a classroom all day where
Mm-hmm.
they've been used to laying in the bed, they've been used to going outside, they've been used to playing with their friends, they've just been used to a lack structure. And
Mm-hmm.
so getting them back into that, we have to do this, and it has to be done in this time frame. So
Right.
we're at home, you may say, okay, before noon, just make sure you've got the bed made and you've done A, B, C, and D. You've got 12 out, 4 hours, 6 hours to get that done. Whereas in school, no, we have 45 minutes to get this done. Ready, go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So those can be very challenging because they have to readjust and
Mm-hmm.
reacclimate themselves back to that which was expected before they went on break.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Other challenges are like remembering the classroom rules and routines. One of the things I work with my teachers on, particularly my brand new teachers, is I tell them, I said, okay, just FYI. And they're so excited, especially my new teachers. Hey, my kids know how to line up now. They've got this. I can go 1, 2, 3. They go, eyes on me. They have the chant. They have this and they respond. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm so happy for you. And I'm thinking, and I tell them, okay, I'm glad you're excited. Just know come January, when they come back to school, it's gonna be like day one. No, they got this year. Okay. January is gonna be the first day of school. They're gonna come in, they're not gonna know where to put the book bag. They're not gonna remember where to sit. They're like, we have it's and we think about ourselves. We're the same way. When we're off on break,
Yeah.
I think about you go back and turn that computer on and you go, what's my password? Because
Yeah.
we don't remember the
Yeah.
password.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, because there's a disconnect because you've been away from it. I guess what most schools have been out for about 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, some went back
And
today, but most are going back on Monday. But yeah,
hmm
that coming back and those challenges,
yeah,
um, they're real. And
yeah,
we have those, and we think about as adults the challenges that we have when we've been out on vacation.
hmm
And again, having to go back to work, go, oh, wait a minute, okay, I gotta fight the traffic. Okay, what floor do I get up off? And what's my ID number? And
right,
it's
right.
really we've had so many IT calls. I lock myself out. Can you help me with my computer?
Yeah, yeah. What's my password? I don't remember my password. Yeah. Wow. So then, how can parents um help the students get back into their routine or get back on track? What are some suggestions to kind of help parents start or get a head start? Because we got a few days. Today is Thursday. So if they're going back on Monday, that gives them a little bit of time
A small bit.
if they've not already started. But what are some things that they can kind of do?
Get back to the schedule. And hopefully they weren't, too far off in the normal routine. So
Hmm
getting back on the schedule, okay, let's go to bed at this time, let's get up at this time. But I would also say have an honest conversation with kids.
hmm
Like, hey guys, okay, school starts on Monday, or if school started today for some people, okay, today was a practice run, tomorrow we're at it again. But
Yeah.
just be like, hey, I get it. I was off for so many days. I understand it can be difficult to kind of readjust
hmm
because we may have forgotten some of our routines.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so having that conversation and even saying, making it personal, hey, look, I get it because mom got to work today and dad got to work and I hadn't turned my computer on in so many days and my computer fell off the network and I had to remember what my password was and I had to remember how to get to my and just tell them this is normal,
hmm
but it's still an expectation that we're going to get this done. And
Yeah.
also reminding the kids, hey, this is the second half. So we want to make sure we finish strong because a lot of school systems, now that we're in January, you have January, February, by around March, that's when test prep comes.
hmm
And so a lot of standardized testing is done between March, April, May is when those state tests are coming.
hmm
So the after winter break, the school year goes by so fast.
Yes.
um it's like lightning speed because again we are finishing up the semester, we're reviewing and we're preparing for tests that are coming up in the spring. And so we want to
Okay.
tell the kids, we want you to finish strong.
Mhm.
One of the things is, which is a beautiful thing, and parents may not notice it as readily as the teachers do. But when the kids come back after winter break, it's like night and day
Mhm.
because there is a maturity level that has taken place over
Mm.
those 2 weeks. And they have had some kind of growth spurt. And we see the
Mm.
kids, they come back, they look older, they look taller, and they're more inclined to kind of do and get more to it may take a little kind of like the car when you warm your car up in the wintertime and you may hear that now I'm turning the key. Now I know most of us don't have keys to turn anymore, but
Mhm.
as
Right.
you turn it and trying to get that jump start
Right.
with that. And so that may be happening, but once it kicks in, they're good to go. um I would say even for the parents, look for that area of growth that your child has had.
Mhm.
Again, it sometimes may not be seen as readily because you're there all the time
Mhm.
and you haven't been able to step back and come back and look. But you'll find that they can do more. I would even have the kids give them more responsibility. Okay, I was getting your bag ready. I was doing this. Okay, now I'm going to give this to you. Give them that responsibility and something to do.
Mhm.
Um, Start doing the night before.
Yeah.
I would start prepping things the night before because the morning of, especially the first day of school back,
Mhm.
you're gonna be fighting your child in the morning. It's a fight. Get up! And so just to make it easier, let's get the baths at night. Let's pack the bag at night. Let's put the book
Mhm.
bag by the door, or for
Yeah.
that matter, based on where you are, put the book back in the car. But put the
Mm.
book with
Yeah.
somewhere where it's a grab and go.
Yeah.
At least those first. Now, I would suggest probably keeping it by the door, but that way they
Okay.
kind of know, grab it. Um, Packing lunches the night before, as much
Mhm.
as you can. If you pack a lunch, having a lunchbox, or that way they can know and go and grab and do. Having the uniforms ready the night before so they can just kind of get up, jump in, and kind of keep going. That will save time,
Mhm.
and also kind of give them that chance of that responsibility. Asking the kids, what do you need? What did you do? What did you need in December? What do you need now?
Mhm. Mhm. Um. So, and you've alluded to this earlier about the teacher. So clearly, teachers have challenges when they're coming back as well, after the winter break. Um, what are, besides the typical administrative challenges, what are some other challenges that teachers may have in terms of how they are interacting with the students? Or I'm assuming that maybe the kids are high energy because they're excited. They haven't seen their classmates in 2 weeks. And I would, presume that sometimes there's a lot of energy, a lot of emotion. Everyone's excited to tell about, what things they may have gotten over the, Christmas holiday or what they did, what kind of fun they had. So what kind, or, what challenges do teachers often face with that? Chatterboxes and things like that, and that just that high energy.
So actually, it can be two different extremes.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it where the kids come back in high energy and they're talking, they're excited, and you're not going to get for so much done because, oh, miss, I got this, I did that. And so it's chatter, 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 chatter. I've also seen it where the kids come back and they're asleep. They
Mm.
walk in
Okay.
and they are just they are asleep. And so the teacher
Ah,
is literally trying to get answers. And the kids are just laid out. And it's like, okay, guys, I know we're tired. I know you're used to your nap. I'm used to my nap. I'm used to hot coffee. I don't have hot coffee right now. My coffee
yeah,
is cold. So I'm used
yeah.
to getting this. So I've seen both extremes where it's literally like pulling teeth without Novocaine,
Hmm.
and a wisdom tooth that's not loose
Yeah,
with no Novocaine and trying to pull
yeah,
that. And
yeah.
I've also seen it where um, there was a line in the movie, I think it was Sleepless in Seattle, because
Hmm.
one of my coworkers has used it when she would talk about describing another coworker. And she goes, girl, you make coffee nervous because
Wow.
it's just
Okay.
like, and you go, baby, settle, please.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I need,
yeah.
So I've seen both. Um, the other difficult part that people don't always think about,
Hmm.
um, and this is something that as educators we had to think about how we present this question and how we talk about what did you do over break?
Mm-hmm.
Because the part that we don't talk about is not every child had a good break.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it's a matter of how do we balance this? Unfortunately, there are kids who they will come back and um, they didn't get presents.
Hmm.
And this is not even about whether they celebrate Christmas or not. It was just rough.
Yeah.
There are some I'm thinking about some that would be going back to school and they lost a parent,
Yeah.
that a parent passed over the break,
Hmm.
or they had a significant loss. There's some who've lost homes. So it's a matter of, and so they're trying to come back to what was normal to them
Hmm.
in a time where things no longer look normal and
Right.
are steady. And so as educators, we've been very careful about um, asking the question, how was your break?
Hmm. Hmm.
What did you do over your break?
Hmm.
Because not everyone had that.
Hmm.
Um, and that's difficult because we're like, okay, what's the best way to get you back into your routine?
Hmm.
Um, to allow people who want to share
Hmm.
without making you feel bad,
Hmm.
without making you relive that trauma.
Yeah.
And so what I've seen done is we've done things where we may have even had a writing prompt. The kids kind of
Okay.
come back, we have a free write. Um, and you can choose to write about your break if you choose to write about a break. Even if it's just an unleash, and we said, hey, if it wasn't the best break, it's okay. You can write
Hmm.
about that. If it
Hmm.
was a great break, you can write about that, but giving them the freedom to release
Hmm.
um, in the best way they feel possible. It
Hmm.
may be even as simple as draw a picture of your mood and how you're feeling.
Yeah.
What's your mood right now as
Hmm.
you're coming back in? What is your mood coming back from break? How do you feel? Some kids will say, I feel relieved. Okay, say more about that because I wanted to escape what I was dealing with. So now I'm back to what I know.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So as educators, it can be difficult trying to balance that and trying to, and particularly if you have, and this actually I would say with all grades, but even with the primary grades, that early childhood grade, because they don't always have the vocabulary to express
Yeah.
what's
Yes.
going on. But then I've seen my sixth graders not have the vocabulary to express. Um, at 11 and 12 years old, how do you express I lost a parent over the break?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dealing with that. I had a student one year, it wasn't over the break, but he was at school. Um, and we found out that his mother was in a car accident.
Wow.
And we're like, we got to get this kid this news. We got to get this. And so it was right before the break. And so dealing with
Uh-huh.
that type of loss
Yeah.
um can be, and it's traumatic. So it's even a matter of having the counselors on hand.
Hmm.
If you've got the counseling staff, not every school system or school has the counselors, the amount of counselors needed
Yeah.
um, for that. And as educators, are unofficial counselors.
Yeah.
They don't have the counseling degree, but they have to be able to give counsel
Right.
during that time. So those are challenges that are beyond just the basic what's my password? What am I teaching? What did I teach on Friday before we left? Do
Hmm.
they remember what I taught beforehand? Um, and then again, making it the first day of school. How do I get them back? Okay, what are our classroom rules?
Hmm.
Let's rebuild our classroom community.
Yeah.
I've seen also in January is when some teachers get new students.
Uh-huh.
So you've got new kids enrolling in January. And so, okay, how do we, get them acclimated and teach them routines and they meet new classmates? or dealing with kids who've moved during that time frame. So it's a
Mhm.
lot of different moving parts
Mhm.
um, that teachers are trying to juggle while again trying to prepare because just because it's the first day back from break, it doesn't mean I can take a whole week to get you back into your routine. No, maybe a couple hours, we got to get you back because I've got to get this. The semester goes by so fast. Grades
Yes.
are due in most cases about 2.5, 3 weeks after we get back from winter break.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
grades are due in January. In the midst of this, you're going to also have most people have the 19th off for inauguration and King's birthday. That's usually off. And
Mhm.
then based on where you're living, snow days that
That's true.
that we look forward to. I'm missing that
Mhm.
where I am now, but we will look forward.
Yeah.
So you got
Yeah.
snow days that are kind of that you got to play into the calendar and the schedule.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow, that's really good information. So, we talked about some of the basics in terms of helping the children kind of integrate back into their routine. What other ways do teachers normally help the children or their students get back into their routines? Other strategies, setting goals or challenges for the kids, and or helping the kids determine or the students kind of determine what their goals like. What does that look like?
So goal setting is something that's really good to do, even in January, um, because it allows the kids to say, okay, this is where, first of all, it allows the kids to look at where they are.
Hmm.
So where am I right now and where do I want to be?
Hmm.
And so what I've done with students and some teachers actually do goal setting in the beginning of the school year.
Hmm.
Okay, where are your goals? Okay, what do you want to? I want to read so many words per minute, or I want to
Hmm.
be able to do some math problems. I want to be able to do this. And so there are times that we go back and revisit what were your goals in August, September,
Hmm.
and where are we now? What adjustments do you want to make? If
Hmm.
you have not made, if they've not made goals, it's a great time to do that.
Hmm.
One of the things the world is big on in January are New Year's resolutions.
Hmm.
So when we're looking at for the classroom as a student, what is it you're looking to do this year?
Hmm.
Let's reflect back on where we were from August, September until December.
Hmm.
What were some things that were great? What were some
Hmm.
highlights? What
Hmm.
were some areas you're like, that didn't go as well. How do I change that? What do I want
Hmm.
to do to change? And
Hmm.
when am I going to do that?
Hmm.
Um, so one things that we would do is we call them SMART goals.
Okay.
We would do SMART goals with kids and then getting them to understand, make it a specific goal.
Hmm.
So that's the S for SMART. The M, is it measurable? So how
Hmm.
do I know? What am I going from and to? Is this an attainable goal?
Hmm.
So if we are a student that you may be reading on whatever grade, you may be on a second grade level. And
Hmm.
I want to read on a ninth grade level. Okay, it's January. Are you going to be able, is this an attainable goal?
Yes.
Um, think about with weight loss. I want to lose 50 pounds in 2 weeks. Okay.
Right.
Is that attainable? Like
Yeah.
can we
Right.
safely do that?
Right.
Is it possible? Yeah, but what you may have to go through may not be what you want to go through to lose
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So is it, attainable?
Hmm.
Which also goes into isn't a reasonable goal.
Yeah.
Is this a reasonable goal? And the T is it the time oriented? In what time do you plan to get this done? And
Hmm.
so having kids to actually make a plan. Okay,
Yes.
this is what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to do it.
Hmm.
So goal setting is one of the things that's really good to do, that teachers do in a classroom sometimes, but parents can also do at home. Okay, so
Okay.
what are our goals that we want to do for this year? What are your goals for the classroom? What are your goals for even at home?
Hmm.
Another thing I started doing with my kids, I got this from a friend of mine several years ago. She would always do a New Year's Day brunch that would start off
Okay.
as brunch, become brunch dinner because it would be an all day event.
Yeah.
But she would say, what's your word for the year?
Hmm.
And so we would all come up with a word, and that was our focus word for the year.
Yes.
And so I would even do that with kids. And so
Mm-hmm.
it gives them that idea of what is my word, my focus word that I'm going to use that's also going to help me obtain these goals. So those
Mm-hmm.
are things that parents, I mean, that teachers can do in the classroom, that have done in the classroom, even as young as kindergarten.
Okay.
It's important for our kids to know where they are,
Yeah.
and what the goal is, where they should be. I
Mm-hmm.
think too many times we sugarcoat things, go, oh, they're just so and so. No, let them know this is where you are. It kind
Mm-hmm.
of goes back to the mindset that everybody gets a ribbon. No, everybody does not get a ribbon. You did
Right.
not win. Like,
Right.
so
Right.
no, you
Right.
didn't win. You didn't do well on
Right.
this. So let's talk about, no, this was not good.
Yeah.
And so this is where you are in reality. Now, where do you want to go?
Mm-hmm.
This is the goal. Where do you want to go? How do we show growth? And what are we going to do? And then even revisit that from time to time. Are things that teachers are doing, and it'd be a good thing for parents to do even at home to kind of go along with. And we'll also kind of go back to the earlier question when we first started, how do you get the child ready to go back to school? Is
Mm-hmm.
making those goals. And so what
Yes.
are our goals and what are we going to do? And then what can I do as a parent or as a teacher to help facilitate you getting
Mm-hmm.
there?
Mm-hmm.
Not do it for you, not tell you what to do, but how do I help facilitate and ask the right questions to get you even thinking and motivated to want to do? So it becomes something that you as a child wants to do, and not me saying, here's your goal, here's what you're going to do, and you're going to get this done. It's no ownership for that. It's my goal, not the child's goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really good. Well, I think that wow, we've given a lot of food for thought here, and certainly looking forward to hearing about your adventures once you return to the classroom on Monday to hear some of the stories and about what some of the trends, and I'm calling them transitions because that's exactly what it is. So, Sarah, thank you so much for taking time and for sharing your thoughts. Family, friends, please take time to like and subscribe, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please stand by for our next video, which will be coming out real soon. Thank you. Happy New Year and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful second part of the year with your students. God bless.